Welcome to Geek Zone Wrestling, a podcast by wrestling fans who just want to talk about wrestling. I'm Kyle,
I'm Danny.
and today we wanted to talk about the importance, to us at least, of a superstar's entrance. From, how they go down to the ring, the lighting, the, pyrotechnics or lack thereof, the music, just
The pageantry.
Yeah. And how it can or cannot, affect the character in a way that could benefit or hurt. My big number one here, the whole reasoning behind this is The Undertaker. His entrance made the character just so much, I don't really want to say more menacing, but just like you watch him make the entrance and you got chills going down your spine. It's not really, he doesn't look more threatening. It's just the whole aspect is spine chilling.
Yeah, it added a whole mystique to his character. I mean, because he was, if you had any other music and he's walking down slowly, it's probably not going to work, especially with the gimmick he was given as a dead man, an Undertaker, when it comes down to it.
Not only that, but it was the gong and the like the slow organ music, the almost like black lighting, like super dark blue. You've got the smoke, you've got the fire, you've got the lightning. Sometimes you had druids with flaming torches.
Yeah. I mean, the whole entrance. I'll be honest. I think the word that you used before, menacing, is exactly what it was. And I think that's what it was intended to be, because when he first came out, he was supposed to be the answer to Hulk Hogan.
Well, when I said menacing, I meant it doesn't affect him like physically. It doesn't make him physically more menacing, but his character.
Yeah, his persona.
Yeah.
And I think everything about that entrance was...
Even the gear.
Yeah, it was just awe-inspiring.
And then on the opposite end, Stone Cold, the glass shatters and the music hits, but that's all you needed. He doesn't have pyro. He doesn't have different lighting. He just basically marches to the ring, throws his arms up in defiance, flips people off. It's almost the exact opposite of The Undertaker, but also worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think the music they chose was absolutely correct. He was a Hellraiser, and that type, and the music that they put on him was very indicative of that. He walked down fairly fast. He wasn't like marching down slowly like the Undertaker. He was, when he entered, you knew he meant business.
And then he would march down, he'd do his thing, and it literally fit his slogan: arrive, raise hell, leave.
Yeah.
And it just shows it fits the character perfectly. But it was, if you added more, it probably would have taken away.
Yeah, it would have not been the same Stone Cold.
No. And that's kind of why I thought that this would be a good topic, is because the characters, both top tier, complete opposite entrances, but both entrances affected their characters in the exact same way, as in it just made their characters a whole nother level.
Yeah, absolutely. Those entrances, they can make or break someone. Especially like when you get a new talent coming in a dark match. If you have a really, really good entrance, the crowd responds to it. If you're boring as crap, the crowd usually doesn't like you very much.
Yeah, if you just march to the ring and slap an Olympic gold medalist in the face, say ruthless aggression, and then continue to wrestle in your weird shorts and crappy haircut.
But it wasn't until they changed his character, gave him new music, that he really started to hit.
okay, but to be fair, his new music was to fit the new character, and it did.
Mm-hmm.
God, did it work?
And that's exactly what I'm saying. You know, his original entrance as the prototype was not great. Like,
even he admits it.
I was there in Cincinnati here, where he came into a dark match. I forget who the heck he was fighting, but he was in a dark match here, and he came out, and I'm just like, who the hell is this guy? This is stupid, and I didn't like him from the get go. And then once they changed his theme to his new character's theme, and matched all that stuff up, that's when I started getting on the John Cena bandwagon, because it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this dude, I like it. I like this. This fits. This makes sense.
Yeah, and he's one of those odd ones where he was in between, having stuff and not, because he didn't really have pyro. Except for maybe WrestleMania and stuff, but
right.
He had kind of that whole, coming down and the various jerseys. He had a mic on him, and he was, trash talking during his entrance.
Right.
And at the time, that was kind of unique.
No one else
was doing that at the time.
Yeah, the only person that I had seen do anything like that was like Road Dogg.
Yeah. But he was not currently in that, situation.
Right.
And usually if he was doing it, it was not at the beginning of a match or a promo that, the other person was... Cena, when he was having like these rivalries with people, they would usually like mock him.
Right.
Doing the same thing. Road Dogg usually didn't have that happen.
Correct.
It was kind of the same style, but just a little bit more evolved. And like I said, at the time, I don't even think Road Dogg was still with the company at the time.
I don't think he was either. Or wait. Yeah, he was, because X-Pac was still there.
In 2000... Well, John Cena debuted in 2002.
Yeah, DX was still around. But at that point, Road Dogg wasn't doing that gimmick. He was doing the usual DX stuff, and he waited until he got to the ring to do any kind of promo work.
He was with the New Age Outlaw.
Right.
So, obviously we've got plenty of people that we can include. What are some of your favorite entrances? Other than obviously the ones we've mentioned.
Yeah, the Taker was always a great one. Kane, another really good entrance. They shut out the lights, the fire had hit, and the menacing music. It fit everything that his character was supposed to be.
Not only that, but when he was unmasked, they changed it, but it still had the same feel.
Right.
It showed that it was an update, but not such an update that it was taking anything away.
Well, and the thing about him was, they put together this whole story about how he was the Undertaker's brother, and he was believed to have been killed in a fire, along with his parents and everyone else. But it turns out he was not killed. He was put into an asylum, and he grew this huge jealousy over watching the Undertaker come into his own. And that's when he showed up, and they gave him every possible ticket to stardom with that entrance of his. As soon as those lights went out, when he first showed up, and you started getting those flames, the pyrotechnics, it was like, oh my God.
And that just showed that
this is it.
Glenn Jacobs, if they gave him something that would work, he could do it.
Right.
Like, he even did his best with Fake Diesel and Isaac Yankem, but those gimmicks were such crap. There was a limit to what he could do with them.
Yeah, there was.
But when they gave him something that he could make, he did.
Yes, and he absolutely stepped up, and I mean, he really rose to the occasion on it. Another one of my favorites was Booker T.
Which Booker T?
WWE, when he came out and they had the bouncing flames. That I thought that was
I was
so
thinking,
cool.
like, Booker T or King Booker.
Booker T.
Because King Booker, he intentionally tried to do like an Undertaker like entrance because he said that he felt that the character that he had, he would want everyone to spend as much time gazing upon him, and
Yeah,
he felt like it was the arrogant thing for that character to do.
right.
So that's why I asked about that.
Another one of my all-time favorites, Y2J. I think they absolutely did him justice when he came into WWE from WCW. They had the whole countdown thing for weeks. And then when it finally happened, boom! And his music hit, and he comes out. And I mean, it was just so amazing.
They even did it well in his second coming.
Yeah.
He had a brief little music change. I think he actually changed his music quite a bit when he went to that whole new drop the Y2J and went to that short haircut.
Yeah.
But his music and the entrance really didn't change all that much for the majority of his first tenure.
Correct. And I think it fit him. It fit what they were doing with him. They were calling him the Millennial Man because it was 2000. And I think his entrance, it stirred me to no end. As soon as I heard that countdown start, it was like, oh my God. Oh my God. How about you?
The one of my favorite entrances, not like the big WrestleMania or the Kane or the Undertaker, the original Rey Mysterio entrance where he jumped up out of
the stage,
because that was like exciting for me to just be like where'd he come from?
That was fun.
And it was just he hops out and he just stands there, and it's like I can't really describe the pop, but it's just like the audience is like, there he is. It's kind of like the opposite of Goldberg. Goldberg has that long, they knock on his locker room, they escort him out to the ring, and then he comes out, and it's like this long, drawn-out thing. And with Rey Mysterio, like you'd have the masks, and it would be... and it's just... It was fun.
It was. It was really fun.
It wasn't overdone. It wasn't boring. It was just, a little smoke, a little boom came out. And then he changed his entrance. He didn't come out of the floor anymore. But, like, he would come out and then he'd point, and then rainbowy colored fireworks would go out the direction he pointed. Then he'd go to the other side of the stage and the same thing would happen.
Yeah.
And then I decided to stop doing pyro at just regular events, which kind of pissed me off.
Yeah. The pyro just makes those entrances pop so much more.
Yeah, and
it was really sad when they took away pyros.
Then you had Batista. I love how he did the whole and like he had it pretty much timed so that he could make his fist movements work with the fireworks.
Right.
I thought that was super cool. And then Randy Orton's, I liked it because it was simple, but not simple. Like when he stood on the ramp and did his whole like whatever the thing that he does.
When he raises his arms up.
Yeah. And it was just be like the drizzly fireworks.
Yeah, the waterfall.
Yeah. At the stage. It was, obviously it's not nothing, but it wasn't extravagant, and it fit his, arrogant little punk persona. So those were three of my favorites, and it was all because of the stage. Like, they were all up at the stage, and then after that, it was like, hey, I'm going to go to the ring now.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite, Triple H.
Triple H. Now,
I loved, and the thing is, like, all the lights, going.
So you're talking the game.
Yes, the game Triple H, not corporate, not
Hunter Hearst Helmsley, not
no. I am the game. You don't want to play me. When he would come out, and the smoke's coming up, and they got this like little circle with all the different colors, and he's standing in front of it, and you just see his, like when you're at the campfire holding a flashlight, telling ghost stories. But it's like rainbow ghost stories.
That's a really good analogy.
And, like all the colors, they're like flashing between like red, green, blue, purple, yellow, whatever. And then, he spits the water,
Takes
whatever.
the drink, spits it out, yeah.
And then he goes to the ring, takes the drink, throws the water bottle, does his spitting up. And,
yeah, he always had a great entrance.
He just somehow made a bottle of water epic.
Yeah. Which is amazing to me. It's so simple, but...
And when I was a kid, I'd be like, ew, I don't want you to spit on me, but I really want to spit on people now. Like...
Did you?
I don't know. I don't want it on me, but I just want to, like, take drinks of water and go on people. But like I said, with him, it was that bit of smoke and rainbow campfire story mixed with the lighting, and there was just something about it was just epic.
It was. And it fit his persona. I mean, it fit who his character was to a T.
I also liked when Jeff Hardy came out to Blacklight.
See, I didn't.
It was new. I mean, it was something that was very different.
I know, but I just... When I think Jeff Hardy, I think, the Hardy Boys music. And I didn't like his entire face paint. Like when he started painting eyeballs on the back of his eyelids and stuff like that. That I thought was a little over the top.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not a fan of that either. But I'm talking like back when he first had his singles run.
Yeah.
And, he had the short locks.
Uh-huh.
He had just cut his hair down, and he came out, it was the black light, and it was like, wow, that's new. I've never seen that before. His face is glowy.
They had changed his music, though, and that detracted for me. That took away from the whole thing. To be
fair, they wanted to try and have the Hardy Boys go solo.
Yeah, they were trying to separate.
Both using the tag team music. I'm going to get it, as much as I hate losing that music.
That just, I don't know. It took away from me from the overall of Jeff.
Okay, well, here's a good thought then. Entrances that you thought should have been improved, or that you just like, I hate when they come out. And not because you don't like the character.
The ones I typically don't like are the ones where they're just, guys like Snitsky, where they're just walking out trying to look, crazy and menacing, and it just doesn't do it for me. Like, even I hate to say this because I know he's a huge pop now, but Gunther, his entrance doesn't do it for me. Like, he has this real majestic thing, but it's very plain, it's very ordinary, and
I think his is
it's not
supposed to be
exciting.
of like a higher class.
It is. I mean, that's his whole gimmick now, is he's bringing prestige back to the World Wrestling Federation, or World Wrestling Entertainment. But I can't get behind the entrance. I really can't. He's unbelievably talented. He's an incredibly good wrestler. He's really good on the mic, but his entrance just does not do it for me. Like, stuff like that. Those I don't like. Ones I think they should have improved on, the Hurricane. They should have given him more. They should have given him, heavy pyro. I mean, he's a superhero, for God's sake.
They should have had him like coming in on a rope and just like propelling to the ring.
Something,
He comes down on a zip line.
Then again, they kind of got away from doing that after, the whole Blue Blazer thing.
Okay. So,
Um,
Green Grazer.
but like, you're gonna hate me for this one.
Oh, boy.
You are. Gillberg.
You hated Gillberg's entrance? I thought you loved Gillberg's entrance.
I loved Gillberg's entrance, but I think they should have done more with it.
The problem is, if they did, it would have been less spoofy.
No, it wouldn't.
Dude, if they gave him anything other than sparklers, it would not have been the same.
They should have brought in, like, for some event, those bigger sparklers, the thicker ones. That would have been really fun. They could have brought in, like,
if it's still a sparkler.
They could have brought in, like, lady fingers and set those off, just like.
I mean, I can get behind that, but I'm thinking, like, you want to do like big extravagant things, and it's like the whole point of Gillberg was, he was the cheap.
He was
knockoff.
The spoof of Goldberg.
He was the Wish.com Goldberg.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't afford that Goldberg. I'm gonna get this one off of Temu.
They should have brought in, like, bottle rockets or something, and just change it up to these really, really puny little firework things. Snakes, those little things you light and they just start spouting confetti poppers, that type of thing. Not that they should have made his entrance more grandiose, just that they should have changed it up. And
I think it would have been funny if, like, instead of, filming them knock on the door, you film it from the inside where, Gillberg is, and you hear the knock on the door, and then he goes to push instead of pull.
I think what they should have done is, like, knocked on the door for Gillberg, and then have him come out of the janitor's closet. He's like, no, that's not my room. This is. What do you think they could have improved on or did not like, period?
One of the entrances I thought that they should have improved on, and it's something really stupid for me. I felt like when they did a lot of the, like, the big guys, like,
Andre, Big Show,
Khali, it's like they kind of all had the same, well, maybe not Big Show. Big Show had this, with the hand.
But it was really
But they all just, like, basically just walked to the ring. And I felt like they had no personality with them at all.
Yeah, I mean, there was no personality in any of their entrances.
Except for Big Show. Big Show, I want to exclude him because, he had the, his music was, kind of catchy, and he had personality as he went to the ring. But the rest of them just walked.
Yeah.
It was like,
me big, the Undertaker.
Giant Gonzalez, another one. Absolutely hated. His entrance was nothing, literally. I mean, he just walked in, and he had this ape suit looking thing. It was ridiculous.
And I feel bad for saying it because, like, I mean, what can you do with them? Like, they can't move around like Rey Mysterio, but change the lighting, give them, smoke or, a spotlight or something.
Well, I mean, proof in the pudding is that they were able to take a big guy and make an entrance so cinematic that as soon as it hit, you knew what was going on. The Undertaker. Yeah. They could have.
The difference between him as a big guy, though, is he wasn't like... I mean, he was a big guy, but he wasn't...
He wasn't massive by any stretch, but he's a big guy.
He wasn't a giant. He was just a large man. And I feel like another one that they could have expounded on. You had Big Van Vader.
Vader. Oh, man.
And he had that sick-ass mask. But that was kind of it. Like, you put so much intricacy into this mask. I mean, his music was all right. I wouldn't be like, oh man, I hate this music. But it didn't all mesh together. And I felt like there was so much put into that mask that was pretty much all that was worthwhile.
Yeah.
Which made it not worthwhile.
Well, and, guys like...
Oh, cool, I saw the mask. I'm done now.
And you mentioned Van Vader. Another one that I think they could have done more for was Bam Bam Bigelow.
That guy he was like the original Keith Lee or, like frigging Ivar. Like big fat dude doing flips and shit.
And his entrance was fairly plain. The biggest pop on his entrance was the outfit that he wore. With the flames running up it. And
you sure it wasn't his head tattoo?
That could have been part of it too. But, I mean, they could have done so much more with him and his entrance. And I think it would have boosted him even further than he got.
Another one that, you don't really need anything. Ultimate Warrior. The dude running down like he's on speed.
Which he probably was.
I mean, the point is, you wouldn't think that would work. But with him, it did. If anyone else tried to do it, stupid.
But because of the character he was given.
I don't know. Like, it worked for Paul London and Brian Kendrick. But that was more their slide into the ring than anything.
Yeah.
It was like a combination of Ultimate Warrior and, like, pre-rated R Superstar Edge. Which was pretty rated R.
Yes.
When he'd slide into the ring and hump it.
Another one I absolutely hated. And this is from way back. Adorable Adrian Adonis.
Oh, shit. You are going way back.
Yeah. Yeah, came out with one of those little... looked like the little push thing that you'd spout out poison with.
Oh, one that was kind of dumb, but kind of so dumb it was fun. Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Come
out with fucking head
shears.
And it's like, it shouldn't have been good. But the guy made it work.
When he became the barber, that made it work. Because those were, what he used to cut hair. At least the first part of it. Then he'd pull out the electric clippers and shave.
There are a lot that I feel like, if you tweaked it a little bit, like Hardcore Holly had awesome entrance music, fit, the persona, but he basically just walked out to the ring, threw his fingers up, and
yeah, it was very, very bland.
But it's like, you had the music, You had the whole, like, I'm just coming here to fight kind of persona. But you could have, if you changed the lights or put in something else, it could have been maybe more memorable.
Steve Blackman.
More memorable.
I mean, it was a boring entrance.
Shamrock. There was no green.
No, that's because they had Tank Abbott and Hornswoggle.
Oh my god. Well, speaking of Hornswoggle, that's no one. Finley.
Finley.
My name is Finley, and I love to fight. And that was just an Irish tune. But then he came out with a shillelagh.
Yeah.
You didn't need the lighting or the pyro, because that kind of said, hey, I'm an Irishman. I like to fight. I got my shillelagh. I'm walking to the ring. I'm going to wait for the dude to come down here so I can fight. Okay. I can get behind that.
Well, and I think that a lot of what makes entrances go wrong is that these guys are given gimmicks that they can't get behind themselves. Yeah. You know, I'll tell you another one I absolutely hated, and I think it's probably because this was not in the dude's realm of desire to do. The Rosebuds. I just don't see that as something that he would have chosen to be on his own. I think that was a gimmick that was pushed at him because Vince always wanted a big party type of entrance thing going on. And he tried to do it again with No Way Jose.
I'm going to come out to a conga line.
And, it works.
You're never going to match the Ho Train. Don't try.
Exactly. The Ho Train was about as close as it's going to get to working. Seth Rollins did it at Mania. And
but see, that's different, though.
Because it was Mania. It was a one-off.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, but, you're going big, and his character is now kind of flamboyant.
Very.
In that... and that worked in the fact that, there was the flamboyancy of it.
It worked because it was a one-off.
Yeah.
It wasn't a pushed thing. It wasn't an every time this is what's going to happen thing.
It's like when they turned Brodus Clay into the Funkadactyl. He was the Funkasaurus with the Funkadactyls.
Yeah.
But
I mean, they tried it over and over and over again, and it never worked.
Oh, another entrance that they had all the potential, but didn't really capitalize on, in my opinion, was Test. The music fit. He had the big guy. They even, if I remember correctly, they adjusted the lighting. His entrance just didn't have the personality.
It had no personality.
It's...
the music hit. It was like, man, this music is really good. And then he comes out and it's like,
why aren't you jamming, man? Like,
yeah, this dude's okay. You're just
it's like
walking.
Rhino.
Yeah.
Rhino. He had, pretty fast-paced music on the same level, but he came down to the ring. He's like, I'm wired. I'm going to spear somebody. Gore. Like, I always liked Rhino because he's just like, hey, I'm a big dude. I'm going to run down here and just, like, jump somebody. All right, cool.
Another one I absolutely love, though, and I shouldn't have loved this, but I did. Al Snow. He'd come out with that mannequin head. What does everybody want? He holds it up. Head. What does everybody need?
On the backside of that, though, with him and the mannequin, it worked. Perry Saturn and the broom, it did not.
No,
I'm sorry, it was a mop.
Yeah, it was a mop. No, did not work.
Oh, my God. I forget what it was that he did to get himself punished, but I think he...
Didn't he hurt somebody with the rings?
I thought he, took legit shots at somebody. for something and got punished for it and got the whole mop thing. But
I mean, they've just done some really ridiculous stuff.
Oh. I just thought of another one that when they first brought in the Boogeyman.
Oh God.
I with the exception of the worms, I loved his entrance because it was just so
dark and brooding.
Crazy. Like he'd come out and he'd be like this weird, like, you know, all fours twerking thing, and then he'd like get up, he had these like crazy eyes and bashes a clock against his head, and then he starts shaking and he's like, I'm the Boogeyman and I'm coming to get you. It's like, okay, when did Macho Man become a demon?
But yeah, the thing that struck me about this topic.
Oh, and he had the smoking cane.
Oh, yeah.
The walking stick. And it's like, dude, holy crap. It's Papa Shango all over again.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I thought of, Papa Shango.
And it's like, you didn't really have to do anything. Like, I didn't care what kind of match he had. I'm just like, oh, that was an awesome entrance. The dude's like psychotic. Except for the worms.
Like the thing that got me about this topic was, I remember, as a young teenager getting the WWE games, the SmackDown versus Raw and all those. And what I always looked for was the coolest entrances. I wanted to see the entrances. I'd skip through the ones I didn't like, and I would sit there and watch it every single time on the ones that I loved. The Undertaker was always watched. Always. HBK was always watched. The ones that had the really good entrances in the games are the ones that, I'll be honest, made me buy the game.
So, it sort of has to do with entrances. What are your favorite entrance music themes?
Favorite entrance music themes. Jericho is up there. Stone Cold is up there. DX.
And when I say favorite, I don't mean like just as music, but like if you hear it, you're just like.
Yeah, I go with all the ones I just mentioned.
Well, I mean, I didn't want you to think the music by itself, but like the themes to the entrance.
And if we're talking nowadays, I would say Rollins, Randy, to a lesser extent, Cody Rhodes. I know he's the big deal right now, but his entrance is fine. I don't know. It doesn't hit me the way some other ones do. Like when Rollins just came back, and right before Money in the Bank, when he came back, I could not get his song and his entrance out of my head for 2 weeks. I mean, it's just stuck there.
I really like the ones like with his and Shinsuke's and Sammy's, where it's so easy to, like the crowd's in it, and it's easy for you to sitting at home being like, whoa, oh, I'm not even there.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking about this the other day. I could purchase those songs, but it wouldn't have the same feel.
Oh, I have those. I have songs like entrances on my playlist.
And unless it has the crowd behind it, it's not going to feel the same. I'm not going to get those shivers up my spine when I hear it.
Yes and no, because I have Austin's music on my playlist, and every now and then I'll go, like a song will end, because I always put it on shuffle. I've got way too many songs to go through and just pick them. And all of a sudden I'll hear glass breaking. It's like,
see, but that's different, because the crowd did not sing his song. I think if I was
Well,
to
I mean,
purchase
if it was like those three, like the ones where you're singing along, then yeah, okay. I thought you meant just strictly like, all entrance musics.
No, not all entrance musics. It's those particular
Because you
ones.
still get pop from.
Yeah, you still get pop from the shattered glass and all that, but I think if I were to get those songs, it just wouldn't feel the same to me without the crowd getting so into it.
Yeah. God, man, that's. Ooh.
Now, I'll tell you one that I absolutely hated originally and grew to love. HBK.
Really?
Yes, I hated his entrance when he first started with it. When the Rockers broke up and he started coming out with Sherry Martel and that whole.
I thought the entrance was sensational.
Oh God! But the music, I hated it. I thought it was terrible. And then over the years, it grew on me, and it was like, you know what? Yeah, this fits him.
See, it's funny because like he still comes out to that whenever he comes out, and it's like, you still think you're cute and know you're sexy?
I hated that originally. I mean, that was the worst thing.
And I was sexy, but now I'm old and I'm down in NXT. But I mean, just his movements when he came down to the ring fit the style of the music.
Yes, very much so.
So, I mean, if you would have gotten rid of the lyrics, like, that music would have fit from then to now.
Yeah.
I still would. I would not call him a sexy boy, but
that was the persona that he was given.
Then again, I never would have. But
so I mean, I get it, but I hated it originally, and I love it now.
Do you remember when when Big Boss Man first came in and he had the blue vest and he had that like super like Southern country. Have you ever been in Georgia?
That's because he's from Cobb County, Georgia.
Yeah, but it was like something Charlie Daniels would sing, and then he joined like the corporation and went to the like super badass entrance music.
Yeah,
and it's just like, holy shit, this dude just got cool, even though I hate him. Like, he wore the all-black vest and the sunglasses.
Like the SWAT type stuff.
Yeah. And then he came into the cool end. It's like, I didn't really like you before, but I hate you now, but damn, you're cool. Like, shit. He came out to some APA-style music, and that's one of my favorite tag team entrances ever, and there's almost nothing to it. They just came down, and they're like, we gonna kill somebody.
They were the same type of persona as Steve Austin.
Yes, but like, I don't know, the two of them together was somehow intimidating, but at the same time, like,
hilarious.
I'm so excited. I'm scared, but I'm excited.
They were hilarious. I loved APA. I did not like them as just the acolytes. When they were in the corporate ministry and all that. When they became the APA, that's what won me over.
Okay, another entrance that I love and very much miss, Eddie Guerrero coming out in the lowrider.
We lie, we cheat, we steal.
It's one of those things where it's something so simple, and I'm easily amused, so here we go. But he looked like he was having so much fun when he's like bouncing in the lowrider. Hey! And it was just really hard to not enjoy just watching him bounce and be like, that looks like fun.
Kurt Angle.
Which time?
Yes.
Music. perfect.
Dead
Like,
on. I mean, the grandiose everything.
But I loved, he came out and he was just, first off, he was happy and like milk drinking, and then he was like bald and like kind of disgruntled, and then he came out and was like, I don't suck. And then he was right back to being a badass and world champion.
I mean, the pyro they gave him, the backlighting, everything fit him perfectly.
Okay, here's one, and it's another small thing, but somehow was small yet a big impact. Davy Boy Smith, British Bulldog, coming out with the like the flag cape.
Yeah. Well, see, they did that before, though. Like when he was with Dynamite Kid, the British Bulldogs, they had come out with the flag draped across their shoulders. So they just did it up a little bit bigger, a little bit nicer.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
but yeah,
it was just one little thing in his entrance that had a big impact on his entrance. And it wasn't something that was really a lot of people were doing. You had some guys carry flags, but oh my God, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He's one of those guys that I always hated seeing him, but I always loved seeing him. It was so weird. Like, he was hilarious, but it's like, dude, you should not be wrestling right now.
Right?
You should be retired. I'm sorry.
Sergeant Slaughter carried a flag. Now, sometimes it was the Iraqi flag, and sometimes it was the American flag, but that was because of his character.
Yeah. But Hacksaw Jim Duggan, like, he came back twice, and it's like, why? Why are you back? And, you're probably going to hate me for this. Another entrance that I found boring, Bob Backlund.
It was terribly boring.
I kind of expected you to be a big, what? Bob Backlund? How dare you?
No, his entrance was terrible. It was absolutely horrendous.
He kind of just seemed like a klutzy goofball.
Yeah.
But there is one big guy that I thought of from the old days that had a bit of a different entrance, being Yokozuna. Still kind of boring, but it was, at the time, kind of the only big guy entrance that wasn't, I'm walking.
Yeah, and he also had Fuji with him, and Fuji kind of helped.
What's water have to do with it?
Mr. Fuji.
I didn't know the mountain was a man. I thought it was non-binary.
Oh my God. So, yeah, he had Mr. Fuji to help him along, and he kind of made up some of the show of the entrance.
Yeah. And I brought him up for a reason. People with managers. Do you think that the manager affects the entrance?
Oh, absolutely he does. Yeah, there's no question. I mean, you got, the Heenan family, Jimmy Hart and his crew.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Paul Heyman.
And he's a big
man, Paul Heyman. And you got guys like Dr. Style Slick.
Oh my God, I forgot about Slick.
The managers make a huge difference because
Virgil.
They are only entertainment usually. Except for Virgil, which he became more involved in the wrestling and later. The majority of the time, early on, he was just a distraction or a cheap shot, just like all the other managers. But yeah, the managers absolutely make a huge difference.
Do you ever feel like there was a manager taking away from an entrance?
Yes. Marlena.
Why does that sound familiar?
Because she was with Dustin.
Oh. That was pre-Terry.
Yeah.
Tell you what, manager making an entrance better. Eminem. That was a heck of an entrance. Like the rolling out the red carpet, the paparazzi. The three of them together was incredibly well done.
It was. I'm not gonna lie. That was really well pulled off.
And like they're doing like they're posing and everything, and she's all like rubbing their chest, like showing off the product.
Yeah.
It was, as much as I hated the team. I mean, they were heels. You were supposed to hate them.
Yeah.
Their entrance was pretty damn impressive.
What would you say is a manager that took away from an entrance?
Well, I don't really know if it necessarily is taking away, but I feel like MVP, when he was with Bobby Lashley, served no purpose.
I would tend to agree.
I felt like there was no point in him being here. He was just walking behind Bobby Lashley. And Lashley's entrance has actually been pretty good. He's got that cool, like, Tronny looking thing with the lightning. And then he comes out and he's got the dun 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 dun.
See, I just don't think he knows what to do with it.
But I mean, he's got the cool music, he's got everything, and he's moving to the music and all that, and then you just got MVP walking back there with Kane.
Yeah, MVP.
And like as a manager, he's doing a phenomenal job. As a talker, he's doing a phenomenal job with what they give him. The problem is, I don't see a purpose in him being in that entrance.
I'll be honest. What I think it is I don't think MVP wants to be a manager. He was a wrestler. He was a, budding star at one point. And then I guess he got hurt or whatever, or he got in trouble, one of the two. And from that point on, he was just kind of an afterthought.
Well, when he came back, he was supposed to wrestle and messed up his leg.
I think he wants to be a wrestler, not a manager.
I feel like he should have been back by now, but I don't know the extent of whatever he did.
I don't think that he wants to be a manager. I don't think he likes being a manager. And I don't think he's giving anything to the managerial process.
Fair.
I really don't.
Now, one part of entrances that we have not covered yet, and I can't believe we haven't, women entrances. We have not spoken of a single woman, with the exception of managerial women. Rhea Ripley. Love her entrance. Because she comes out, she's got the cool Titantron, she's got the music, she like goes with the whole like punk gothic thing.
So yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. The women entrances just are not exciting. They're not. They don't do much for the women.
What about Naomi?
Naomi's...
She's got cool shoes. She's got like the neon and the glow and the.
Hers is really...
Actually, I think she even does the blacklight.
Yeah, she does. And she's the only one that I've seen with any type of real grandiose entrance. Because they do the blacklight.
What about the man?
What about the man?
Becky Lynch, man.
They have great music. She just walks out. Usually walking out angrily. But, I mean, there's nothing special about the entrance.
What about Chelsea Green?
What about Chelsea Green?
Samantha Irvin. Chelsea Green!
That's Samantha Irvin, not...
She helps the entrance.
Yeah, but now we're talking announcers.
Still helping the entrance.
Yeah, it does help with the entrance, but at that token, we need to be talking also about, guys like Howard Finkel and you know all the predecessors,
All right, fine, I get it.
Lillian Garcia. I mean, all these other people did the announcing, but
Holy crap! Not once so far have we mentioned The Rock.
his music hits and chills go up your spine. I mean, he's an obvious one.
Well, and it's like with him, he somehow like knows how to read the crowd, so he knows like when and how to like pause to get the reaction and.
He definitely does. Like, everything about him as a persona in the WWE has been nothing short of fantastic. Like, everything he does is gold there.
Brood.
The Brood, that was an awesome entrance.
Finn Balor.
Demon?
Both. Not just Demon, but also just like his regular bum 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 bum.
I just find that, you know, until he gets to the ring, there's not much. I mean, he kind of puffs out his jacket a little bit and walks down to the ring.
No, like pre-Judgment Day Finn Balor.
That's what I was referring to.
Like when he crawls out and he does the, you know, like to the music and he bows and he.
Yeah, but he didn't usually do that without the Demon.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
He walked out with his leather jacket and had his hands in the pockets and just kind of pushed out his coat a little bit and walked down.
You and I watched a different Finn Balor.
Like, they took that away from Finn Balor, the person, a long time ago.
I'm sad now.
The Demon's the only one that did that.
Lame.
And his entrance was fantastic.
Oh. Well, I guess that kind of squished as much out of this as we're going on. You just took all the wind out of my sails.
So we're going from an entrance to a closing?
Yeah, I guess.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean... You know, it was that whole Bullet Club thing.
You know, well, now that we're closing up this entrance here, maybe we should go like create an entrance on WWE 2K.
Yeah, because we are going to be doing live streams on WWE 2K24 on our YouTube channel, which this podcast will also be broadcast on. So feel free to stop in and hang out with us if you're interested in wrestling and, you know, WWE 2K24.
Or, you know, like, if you just want to see us play and, like, see how we play, you know, just, like, take a look. So. All right, guys, have a good night. Be well. And,
thank you for joining us.
yeah, think about your entrance. Like, what would you do? What music would you have? What pyro? What would you have smoke? What lighting?
Because it can make all the difference in the world.
Would you have a manager? Who would it be?
What would they do?